Hello and welcome to the Slip Slip Sis YouTube channel. I'm Che,
I'm Gabs.
and this is our YouTube channel where we share all about our crafty
Adventures.
adventures. I was going to say this, the word I was looking for was escapades, and it just came to me. Now, we have a special video for you today, and this is our, what did I call it? It was
The Labors of Knit-cules.
yes, the 12 Labors of Knit-cules. As Gabs and I, well, we're just going to hop right in to our challenge that we are setting up for ourselves. I was talking to Gabs earlier this week, and we were talking about wanting to do a Labor Day weekend challenge. And then that somehow transformed to now a 12-week challenge based on the 12 labors of Hercules. And so we spent like an hour going first remembering what the different 12 labors were, some of us remembering better than others, and deciding what our knit or crafty like equivalent would be for us to complete these 12 labors. And we are recording this video in case any one of you wants to join us on our 12-week of labors. If you need to adjust a little bit because these are very specific to us, I think we're pretty flexible on it. I'll make like a little graphic that we will post on our Instagram. You can find all of our information down below. In order to get that information, I'll make sure that's posted so you can participate that way. I'm sure if any folks participate, we will have prizes. We're kind of low key, and it's really just a challenge for both of us because we are also doing it together. So because sisters stick together, and actually our dad texted us that today, August 26th, is National Sisters Day. So when one of us has a bright idea, it looks like the other one's joining in too. So if you have a partner, a knitting buddy that you want to partner up on to split up the labors, that is also totally okay. Anything you want to add, Gabs, before we jump right into explaining the labors?
You can join us for one. You can join us for all 12. You don't have to do all 12. You can just follow our YouTube channel and laugh at our antics, which is always something that we can do. Yeah, tag us on Instagram if you do these things. Most of our updates will be on Instagram. We'll do videos. Our plan is to do a video per labor. So theoretically 12 weeks, realistically probably closer to 14 or 16 because our lives get hectic. But that
Also,
is,
some of these are kind of hard.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we split up, well, we decided what the labors were and then split them up because some of them are very targeted towards one of us, because sometimes things that are a challenge for one are not the challenge for the other and vice versa. So
Wait, should we explain that Knit-cules is a play on the word Hercules?
I said 12 labors of Hercules.
I know, but
honey, you mean Huncules. Yes, so how about you explain the Greek mythology part, because I feel like that's more you.
All right. So I was big into Greek mythology when I was, yeah, I've toned it down now. I was big into Greek mythology when I was in late elementary school. I even had a Greek mythology themed birthday party. Those were the days before digital photos were really a thing in our family. So there's only physical copies of the photo. Otherwise, I would make my sister put one in, but I don't think we have one. So Chaylee, being my little sister, obviously had to get like inundated with my Greek mythology obsession.
Before bed, Mom would read us a book, and because she was older, we got to read the book that she wanted to. So every night it was a different myth.
Delaire's Book of Greek Myths, which, you know what? It's still in my classroom, and I still read it to my high school students when they need to calm down. I'm like, okay, so we're going to read the book. And then we read about like Cronus and Rhea, and we calm down. So
shall we form a comic circle?
You know, high schoolers, sometimes they just need to be read a story and do some drawing because life's hard in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chaylee got inundated. And then when she came up with this idea of, first I thought there were 7 layers of Hercules, but that wasn't correct. Because Hercules is not my favorite myth. So I'm like,
which one is your favorite?
I think it's Hades and Persephone.
I'm reading a spin-off right now. The Hades and Persephone. It's like set in like modernish day, but they're still gods. It's interesting.
I think I've been liking it more ever since I saw that like meme on the internet that you can be queen of the underworld and the goddess of spring at the same time. I think I was, yes, as an adult, it resonated with me. In regular time, like before the pandemic and all this horribleness, I really liked, what's it called? The one about Aphrodite and the sea foam and all that stuff. So, the 12 Labors of Hercules. Hercules is a demigod, the son of Zeus, and a mortal woman whose name escapes me.
Wasn't she a queen? And no, that's Perseus. Or Zeus seduced
I'm Googling now. Hercules' mother. Here we go. Alcmene, daughter of Electrion, king of Tiryns and Mycenae.
She was a princess.
Yeah, so a mortal woman. So he's a demigod. He was super strong. How did he have to do? What happened that he had to do the 12 labors? Something
wasn't it something where they like he was gaining power or like he was like gaining and what like all in all the movies that I've seen, it's had something to do with like him gaining traction and a king getting jealous and then they like poison him and basically he ends up like murdering his wife and children and then to like atone, the king of I want to say Mycenae makes him do these 12 labors in order to like atone for his crimes, which like weren't actually his fault. So I kind of feel bad for Hercules. So these are his like atonement labors, I think.
Oh yes, I remember now. Megara, his wife.
Yes, and he had like triplets or something.
Yes, in Greek mythology, they were always popping out like twins or like
everyone is very fertile.
Like full litters. I'm like, that doesn't seem that common in the. I mean, it's not that common now, but in the ancient world, I'm like, that doesn't seem common at all.
Also, to then survive it.
Yes. Yes.
In ancient Greece. But when your partner is a demigod, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's where we are in terms of my obsession with Greek myths, but not Hercules because I can't remember. I also am remembering some myth about like planting teeth and then the teeth turned into men. And if you know what myth I'm thinking of, please help me because I've mixed it up. I'm like, isn't there a Minotaur? No, that's not Minotaur. And then who is Ariadne? And it's everywhere in my mind now. So,
all right. So our first labor is the Nemean lion. And that labor was basically the lion was terrorizing Nemea. But the lion has an impenetrable pelt. So Hercules is sent to take down the lion. And so these are loosely adapted knitting challenges, if we can just note. So we went thematically or based on like what kind of matches with it or what was the lesson from the labor. So for this one, it's all about the pelt. So the challenge is for me, I have to learn how to brioche and create that fancy pelt. I'm probably going to do a hat. So
the Nemean lion mane.
Yes. So the challenge is honestly like I think it's loosey goosey. Try the thing, work on it, and then like I'll probably finish the hat. But if I don't finish it in the week that I'm doing that labor, I'm flexible on that. And you absolutely can choose if you like it's a different kind of like knit texture or fabric technique that is your Nemean lion pelt.
Yeah, it could be like trying cables for the first time. Could be like stranded color work, mosaic
that
color
thing
work,
ladder thing you don't
ladder
like
back to card, intarsia, something like that. Something that has to do with creating like the fab. Okay, but how does he get the pellets? Something about an underbelly, right? A spear in the underbelly.
I think it's an underbelly thing. I didn't read that far. I read up to it would had to do with the pelt.
Yes. So
and then he wears it.
Which feels real icky.
I don't know, Gabs. I'm not from ancient Greece.
Yeah, it is a myth. It is a myth as well. Also, our pronunciations may be terrible. We apologize. Please send us the pronunciations correctly if we do them wrong, because we're not positive. Also, our names are Gabrielle and Shaylee. We are very familiar with
Mispronunciation would welcome the
yeah,
correction.
please correct us. Don't feel like we're gonna no. Please correct us if we're doing it wrong.
All right, yours is next, which is the Lernaean Hydra. Shall I explain the Hydra?
The Hydra is some kind of serpent, right? It's a multi-headed serpent in my head. I could be wrong. And then I think again, the Hydra is terrorizing some region.
I'm gonna guess Lernia.
Yeah, region in the ancient world, probably the Mediterranean. And Hercules is sent to slay the Hydra, but every time he cuts off one of the Hydra's heads, another more pop up in its place. Two pop up in its place. Again, I don't know how the story ends. Obviously, he moves on to labor number 3, so somehow.
Well, I mean, in the Disney movie, he just smashes it. Like there's like rock slide.
Okay. So my challenge, is this my cozy memories?
Yes, it is.
This is my I'm making a cozy memories blanket, and the challenge is that I have to clip in and weave in all the ends, because for that blanket, it feels like once I've done one of the ends, 2 more pop up, because it is a scrappy blanket. So the ends keep popping up like Hydra heads. Yeah. That's
right.
So if you have a project that's like, you think you
color work,
or like a bind off that's like an I-cord bind off, where it's like, I did it. No, I did. Or it's like some kind of like shape where you have to like turn the corner and you think you're done, and then you just keep going 5 ever. Or like a cardigan when you think you're done, but then you're like, oh God, the button band. Now that I sew the buttons on. One of those tasks where it like keeps popping up.
All right. Our next one, this one I'm not like, I'm like 10% confident my pronunciation. It is the hind of Cyrenia.
Okay.
And so this one has to do with it's the hind, which I am imagining, I'm pretty confident it's like a deer. And the deer is like beloved by Diana, one of the goddesses.
Yes.
So she's a goddess.
Apollo's twin, sometimes called Artemis.
Yes. And so Hercules is sent to basically kill this beloved animal of a goddess, which is like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm gonna have to do this, but it's looking real bad. And basically a couple of different stories like or interpretations of the myth are like he ends up like shooting it through like its tendon, like if I was the hind, it would be like right through like almost at the Achilles, and it like brings it down, but it doesn't kill it, right? So it's like you found the creative way. In other ones, like we were looking up, he basically just like tells Diana what's happened, and he's like, I'm so sorry, this is what happened, and she's like, I forgive you. Clearly that's what happened in ancient Greece.
Oh, I remember, because he was punished by Hera. Hera was mad about Hera's Zeus's wife, made him do the bad things to his wife, but Hera is Artemis's stepmother, not her mom, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I really don't think Hera actually has that many children that are actually hers.
Hephaestus the blacksmith.
Yeah, I feel like he really gets the shaft on a lot of these.
He got thrown off of Mount Olympus.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
But it's like Hera's making it rough on Hercules. And so my challenge is, because I always like to prepare, like I always like to know exactly what I have. I always have plenty, like it's going to be fine. I don't have to worry about anything or have to like make it work at the end. I am now tasked with playing yarn chicken and choosing something to make something that I know I don't have enough of, and figure out how I'm going to make that work. So it's probably going to be a deep dive into my partial skeins and to see what I can make with that. Or Gabs might just like give me yarn and be like, make this, and then I got to figure it out.
I don't know what that's like. I'm very prepared. I never play yarn chicken.
Right. Okay, you are next, and you are the Erymanthean boar. So the Erymanthean boar was another animal terrorizing a area, and this one, from what we were reading, didn't have like a particular lesson or something that stood out. It was like legit just brute strength, like facing the thing that scares you, is what we discerned from this labor. And so Gabs, do you remember what it is? Has to steek all 3 of the sweaters that she's making. It's cutting the knitting, which is scary because you worked really hard. And so do you want to talk about it more?
So I have a knit pattern. It's called steekling. So I've steeked before. I'm steeking this pattern, but I've made the sizes larger. So it's including Lonnie, my older daughter's size, as well as my own size. And I decided I'm going to steek this live on you. Like I'm going to film the steeking process, because a lot of times when I like film YouTube videos for my high school students, a lot of times I'll do the process once and then film it the second time so that I've like perfected it and I've gotten my angles and I can give tips. This time we're just steeking. Me, the sewing machine, and my tripod are just going to steek the thing. And it's a little bit higher stakes because steeking Eleanor's, she's only 18 months old. So it's not that big a deal if I have to reknit hers. Now I'm steeking my own sweater.
Right.
So it's a full size sweater. And the added danger to this is it is a yarn supported design for universal yarn. So if it doesn't go well, I have to rebuy all the yarn and knit it again.
The Erymanthean boar of knitting. Okay. Oh, this one is me. Our next one is this one, also not confident on my pronunciation, the Augean stables. And so this challenge was all about, there's the stables, the Augean stables, and they have like droves of horses, but nobody has kept up the stables. So
it's very not good for the horses.
Ooh, my laundry's ready.
That feels unsanitary for the horses.
It's very bad. And so, but it's like when you listen to the fables or the myths, they talk about basically like you take a step and you like fall into poop. Like it's so bad. Like I mean, it could be hyperbole, but it's like, when I was explaining this to my sister, I was like, you're like quicksanded into horse poop, but I didn't say poop. When I was explaining it to my sister, I used a different word. And so this one is all about like, and Hercules only has like a day to do it. And so it's like, if you were actually like scooping, it's not going to work. So what he ends up doing is like using his strength.
Does he flood the stables?
He floods the stables.
I got it. I'm with you.
Yes. So he like the nearby river, he floods it with the river. So my Augean stable, which is, I think it'd take me longer than the week, is I have to catalog all of my yarn into like some kind of knitting app. And so if you haven't seen my yarn stash, that's it over there. So I have 9 cubes full of yarn, more yarns in those metal babies over there, and I have a bunch of mini skeins. I think though I'm going to just focus on cataloging the like full intact skeins. I don't think I'm gonna do mini skeins because a lot of them don't have names, because I got them like as part of a set and it's now been gone from the set. So I think I'm gonna focus on like, I'll do all the ones that are like my knit picks, like because those have names, but there are some like, I'm not going to do my row 1 minis, but I'll do all of my full intact skeins. Well, I'll attempt to do all of my full intact skeins. I'm not Hercules. So that's the goal. So also hopefully I could just start knitting a lot of stuff before it becomes labor number 5. So I have less things I have to catalog, ideally.
She has a month.
Yay. Or hopefully we'll just do a lot of giveaways and I'll start giving stuff away. So
I'm giving this away because I don't want to catalog.
I decided I didn't want to write this down. So this is for you all. So that is number 5. Our next one is a combo challenge. And this is the Stymphalian birds. This one we had a struggle with because it was kind of like, again, it was like birds and he needed to drive them away. How Hercules ended up driving them away was taking them out with a slingshot. And so we are learning a different style of slingshot cast on. So we probably in that video will talk about which one we're doing, or Gabs will tell me what we're doing for that. And that's going to be, that one doesn't seem so bad. I feel like that's because it's number 6. It's kind of like our, like, you can still do this, pals. Like, it's fine.
Yes. We do a long tail cast on for most stuff, which is a slingshot cast on. And I think we're going to try and do German twisted cast ons. If you have suggestions for a complicated slingshot cast on, please let us know. Bonus points if you link a left-handed tutorial. I'm left-handed, and man, there are not that many out there. So especially for crochet, they're like, oh, I just flipped the video. It's not actually the same thing. Like, you read the pattern differently when, like, you do things differently when it's a, yeah. So slingshot, that one should be easier, and it will realistically fall in October when it's pretty crazy for Chaley. So hopefully that one will be like a, we can learn it in like 20 minutes thing. And it's not like one of those tubular cast-ons where that one's fiddly. So that's our hope, is that one's kind of like a breather.
Because the next one is yours.
Is it the thing? I should get the thing.
You should go get the thing.
Okay, you tell the story, I'll get the
So
thing.
the next one is for my sister, and it is the Cretan bull. And the bull is, again, like a very, very, very vicious beast. And it's got, wait, hold on, am I reading this wrong? Was the bull the one with the, like, it's got multiple different things? Like, it's not just a bull?
I don't recall.
No, that's the cattle. That's Garion's cattle. That's 10. I think the bull is just like, it's really hard. Like, it's really hard. It's a mess. You don't want to face it, but you gotta. And so Gabs's challenge is.
Okay, so backstory. My sister did this. This is 1,000% my sister's fault. Chaley got an advent calendar back in must have been 2020, because Lottie was born in 2019 and I didn't have Len yet. So back in 2020,
look for a picture.
And she was opening it because she was still living at home because it was the pandemic, and she was opening it, and they were visiting us because we were a little bubble of like the 6 of us. So Lottie really wanted to play with one of the advent calendars, and Chaley is fun Aunt Chaley. So fun Aunt Chaley gave my 1-year-old a mini skein to play with. So Lottie promptly continued to play with it and play with it and play with it and play with it.
Oh, I've got it. This is her reaching for it.
Yes, that's little Lottie. That happened. And now it looks like this. So my Cretan bull challenge is to untangle this thing.
Wait, no, she still got it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she was walking around with it.
In her back pocket. Yeah.
Oh, so, look at this one.
Yeah, you can see it to start to disintegrate.
Doesn't she look so happy though? Come on.
Thrilled. But I'm not, because my task is to untangle this. My task is to untangle this. So I think my task, actually, I think I'm going to make the task to untangle it and then knit with it.
Like, you can't just like partially untangle it then. You got to like turn into a ball.
Yeah.
Good luck, man. Okay.
I'm going to put it in my cozy memories, because if I remember correctly, it's only a 10-gram mini.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not really like I could yarn. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm going to do to you. I got it. I'm going to give you a 10-gram mini to pull off heels, toes, and cuffs.
Okay.
You need 12 and a half. So I know Chaley will come up short.
Okay. So
it's hurting her already. She's already
I don't want to play anymore. Okay, so the next one is mine. It's the Horses of Diomedes. And the horses are basically untamable horses that are man and flesh eating horses. And so you have to tame them, much like Gabs is going to have to tame that mini skein. Mine is to tame my partial skeins, which I will go get all of them. They're not as bad as I think they are, but it's kind of like, it's kind of a thing. So I've got like these bags of them, which I don't know what I'm doing with. And then this whole thing in here. Oh, strong start.
Yeah.
So finding some kind of organizational method for my partial skeins. If it's by weight, if it's by not just like yarn weight versus like amount of skein left weight. I don't know. Oh, look, I found my thingy.
Oh, excellent.
My sock blank.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan for that one. Okay. Oh, it's you. You're the belt of Hippolyta.
Okay, so Hippolyta's an Amazon queen. I really like Xena Warrior Princess, by the way. It's one of my favorite TV shows, and it is really not available on streaming. And I think it's like on Tubu or something. I don't know. It's not on a regular streaming thingamajig, so I'm very upset. I watched Xena in college a lot. So Hippolyta is an Amazon queen. If you're wondering how I got from Xena to Hippolyta, or Hippolyta to Xena, Xena's friend, but really life companion Gabrielle becomes an Amazon princess. That's how I got to Hippolyta. Hippolyta's an Amazon queen. Hercules has to steal her belt, but while he's like sneaking about trying to steal it, Hera again puts it in the idea of the Amazons that he's gonna try and kill Hippolyta, but he wasn't gonna try and kill Hippolyta, but then they all turn on him and then he's forced to kill Hippolyta. Really, the story is Hera's pretty vengeful. And I think there's some reason that
a lot.
I think she's like forbidden from outright killing him. I think like Zeus doesn't like there's some kind of pact where she can't actually, like, if he happens to die, right, but she can't do it herself. So we are making
no, just you.
I'm making a headband,
like the belt,
which I actually think I may donate to Knit the Rainbow, because that is one of the items that Knit the Rainbow needs.
Yeah, so, what's Knit the Rainbow?
Oh, so thank you for asking. Knit the Rainbow is it's a nonprofit organization. And Gary Boston of Gary Knits and Gary Rides is doing a accessories drive for Knit the Rainbow. Knit the Rainbow donates the items to, and I believe it might be just New York right now, but I think they're trying to expand to Chicago, to homeless LGBTQ youth living in New York City and potentially Chicago, but I'm confident it's New York. So he's collecting items like hats, socks, mitts. It's all on his YouTube video of the things he's doing, and it's running from now until December 15th. And of course, there's like, you get more points if you do this thing. So of course I'm like, I want to win all the points. Like,
that's like a good thing to do,
right?
So
I'm not a big hat wearer, so I do like to try out hat patterns, but I don't wear them, and I don't really wear headbands either. It's I don't like how it like mushes my glasses, so I just deal with my ears being cold. Plus it's California, so it's not like the cold's not really going to kill me. It will if you stay outside all night, but like not in my regular daily life.
It's not New York or Chicago.
No, it is not New York or Chicago. So that's what we're going to do, or I'm going to do. And then I've roped my dad, sister, and mother-in-law, and I'm like, so we're making beanies. I'm actually going to try and make a sweater, because you get more points if you make a sweater.
Yeah, excellent.
Because you get 10 points if you make a sweater and only 1 point if you make a hat, but 10 hats will still take me longer than 1 sweater, right? So it's a better bargain if you knit a sweater. If you want to join, check out his thing, but it is it's for teenagers, but it's mostly adults because it's adult sizes, right? Because most teenagers have, I mean, I work with high schoolers. They could wear
adult size things,
especially adult size heads and adult size feet and stuff like that. Your feet don't really grow past being like 15 or 16. So I think it's great. I think it's a great cause. And I work with high schoolers. I work with teenagers all the time. And I am fortunate that that doesn't happen too much to my students, but they are also not sometimes in their homes. And that's really hard to do. That's really hard when home is not safe for you.
so check it out, and we'll be doing that along this journey as well.
Somehow we got from the belt of Hippolyta to knit the rainbow.
Well, we only have 3 more labors, and the final 3 are
There's already a labor.
we are doing combo labors for the final 3.
We are?
So yes, we are.
Oh, okay.
So for Gerion's cattle, it's like this special cattle that the king wants Hercules to steal. Also, the king kind of sucks because all the time, like, Hercules has to keep going to get him these things, and then he's like, cool, and then just like sets them free. And I'm like, okay, like, good, because like, you're releasing the things, but also I think he's just doing it to be kind of a bum nugget.
The king's like a toddler. Like when you make your toddler the meal and you spend so long on it, and they're like, I just want a juice box.
I don't like this. Daddy already made me this.
You cut it diagonally instead of
zigzag. So, but the challenge is that Geryon, like the monster that owns the cattle, has like, I should have remembered this. It's like serpent bottom.
Oh yes, he's
a
like
lion or a bull or something on top, and then like something like the heads of snakes along his back. So he's got like
an amalgamation of different animals.
Yes. And so we're doing a project that is an amalgamation of different crafting techniques. So we are going to do the Grannies in a Row socks. Who are those by? Do you know? Okay. No. Okay. And but you explain it while I Google it.
So Grannies in a Row socks, they're very hot right now. You knit the cuff, I think. We don't own the pattern yet, but you knit the cuff, and then there's granny squares, which are crocheted. So there's a granny square band around the leg, and then you knit the rest of the sock. So it's a combo between a knit and crochet project. You can knit granny squares to create that same look, but I hear it's very time consuming because of how many loops you have to pull up. So I guess that's an option if you're only a knitter and you still want to make these socks. Yes, so that is what we are going to make. Sometimes I combine projects a decent amount when I'm finishing items. Like I'll do like all of these crocheted yarn cozies. I crocheted the body and then I knit the I-cord bind off. And then when Chaylee has a crocheted hat pattern that she hasn't written up yet.
And not gonna happen.
I do not like the brim to be crocheted because I don't like have to go. It's one of those, it's a folded brim, but you have to like do shorties back and forth rows. So I picked up the stitches and I knit.
Just being dramatic. It's only like 10 rows or 10 stitches that you go up and back.
It's a Sisyphean task, Shirley.
Just being dramatic. Like, relax, Hercules. You got it. But it's by Jen Yard.
Yes, aren't they cute? And they're scrappy. I think they're meant to be scrappers.
Yeah. So I think that'll be a fun one to almost end us. And then this is actually going to be a task that's starts earlier in our labors, because the final labor of Hercules is Cerberus, which is the guardian, or Hades' guardian of the underworld, and which I didn't know this, but Cerberus is more than just a 3-headed dog. He's also kind of it's kind of an amalgamation of different animals, which I don't totally remember, but I know that it's not just like dog heads, like it's like serpent again or something else.
Yes.
But the whole thing was to like steal Cerberus from the gates of Hades and bring it to this king. And like luckily Hades gets his dog back, which is nice. Because like you like even in ancient Greece, like everyone just draws a line at killing the dog. Like he's like in any movie, everyone's like, you can't kill the dog. Like it's no good.
I
So
mean, even in Game of Thrones, which is a gruesome show, they never killed the dog on screen. The
right,
animals always they died, right? Like
right.
it's been
You
out
like
for a very
knew
long the it's been out for a really long time. So if you haven't seen Game of Thrones,
we're sorry.
but like lady dies off screen, and like even the dog's head on the pike, like Shaggy Dog, right? That was Shaggy Dog's head on the pike. He
It
was
was
not killed.
whatever the oldest brother. No, yeah, because they put the head on his body.
Right. Rob's direwolf in, and then Rickon's direwolf, they cut his head off to send proof that they had him. But even then, the dogs are killed, right? Or killed, right? But not on screen,
On
because
screen. You can't
that's
kill the dog.
like when you old yeller it, right?
People will revolt. I was sitting in on an interview in one of my jobs when I had a ridiculous job where it was like one of the writers for NCIS, and they were talking about the character of Abby, and they were like, "Oh, like why didn't you like they just I believe they just had her leave the show in some way." And he was like, "Well, it's Abby. Everybody loves Abby. You can't kill off Abby. It's like killing off a dog. Like
Yeah,
they will revolt." Like I still stand by Marley and Me being like the saddest movie ever. So
yeah, because
I weep every time. It's you can't kill a dog. Like it's not cool. And so even in ancient Greece, Cerberus survives. And so but it's all about like the stealing of something precious to you. And so Gabs is coming to visit me in September. So she's going to take something from me here. I'm not going to know what it is. And when I go visit them, I'm going to take something from her as well. But it's like, it's not going to be something like a deep dive. It's like something where she's like, just it disappears, which this will really be a test if I know my stash, because I have to catalog all the yarn after you've taken something. So I could just be like, this is just my yarn and forget I had something.
should we add the layer if we have to knit with the thing that we've swiped and wait and like send pictures to the other person to see when the other person realizes that that's their own yarn?
I mean, that's very funny. We didn't do that because our only thing was that we had to guess at the end on week 12, like what was the thing that was taken by just looking at like our yarn area and being like, nothing. Was it pink? Must have been pink.
Yeah, so we can like it's 12 weeks. We can find time to knit with each other's stuff. Yeah, we'll swipe something. I mean, we know each other's planned projects well enough too that like I'm not going to swipe one of what appears to be a sweater's quantity, right? Like
Right.
you
I
know,
was able to. Well, also my sweaters quantities are tucked away,
yeah. So
so you get to choose, I guess, basically from 6. You only have 6 cubbies to choose from, so
and your mini games.
oh God. Okay. Great. Well, that is our 12 labors of Knit-cules. And so I will write this up and share it for anyone who is willing to join us. And again, you can also completely make up your own 12. That is totally fine. I can make 2, one that has exactly what we're doing, and then one that just like lists the labors, and you decide what your labors are and post about them, because that sounds like fun, because maybe something that you're doing that's hard is something that I'm like, oh, I should have done that too.
Yeah, we may double back. We may do a bonus round. But if you're gonna go steal stuff from people's yard stash, maybe like have their permission.
Right. So bond with the buddy.
Yeah, not just go like don't go to the yard store.
Or maybe you have like, if you live with someone else, they hide something they pull something from your yarn stash and just hide it for the 12 weeks and see if you notice.
That would be a good one too.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sticking along with us. This is just our intro video where we're like confident and morale is high. So stick along with us throughout this journey. We'll also have a couple of vlogs coming out, a regular podcast. We're also doing Vlogtober. So there is a lot coming out for this fall. And thank you so much for joining us. Anything you want to say, Gabs?
Nah, just stay tuned. It's gonna be an exciting fall.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. All right, so we realized in post that we forgot about labor number 11. So labor number 11 is the apples of Hesperides, and that is all about like a trade or a swap. And so Gabs and I are going to swap some of our scrappy projects. She's working on the Battenberg blanket, and I have I either have granny square blankets or a granny stripe blanket. We're gonna swap them and just do part of each other's project and then swap back. So that is labor number 11 for us. Thank you again for tuning in to at least the start of our challenge, and we hope that you join us.